Good morning, everyone. Thank you for joining us today. We will just wait a couple more minutes until all the participants will join the webinar, and then we are ready to start. Okay, so I can see that we have most of the participants here joining us in this webinar. So good late morning, ladies and gentlemen. I think that we are ready to start with some technical information until the other participants join. So again, good late morning, ladies and gentlemen. I would like to welcome you to our webinar. Thank you for signing up and for joining us today. My name is Denis Bede. I am the project manager and legislation specialist at Cyrkl, and I will be the host and the moderator of this webinar. First of all, until all the participants join, I will start with short technical window. All this webinar will be going in Zoom platform. The questions will be answered during the Q&A part at the end of the webinar, so feel free to insert your questions in the Q&A section of the Zoom platform, and we will try to address them and answer them at the end of the webinar, not after every presentation. Also, we will try to put some interesting links and additional content in the chat section, so you can find more information there. And also after the webinar, the link to the recording will be sent to you. The webinar recording will be published on our YouTube channel, also with subtitles, so you can get back to it and rewatch the parts that you are most interested in. Or if you are not able to join us today, you can still watch the recording. So besides me, we have here today also the CEO of Cyrkl, Mr. Jakub Kováč, and our three special guests that accepted our invitation to tell us more about what they do and what are their experiences in the field of waste trade and transportation. The first of all, I would like to welcome here Mr. Simone Mariani, Director of European Recycling Corporation. Then Mr. Philipp Krauss, founder and CEO of Krauss Consulting and Recycling, and Mr. Stammel from the company TIMOCOM. So what would be our agenda today? I will start briefly with the introduction of our topic and then walk you through the current regulatory environment in EU and also tell you more about the revised Waste Shipment Regulation. Then our guests, starting with Jakub Kováč, our CEO, will tell you more about the process leading to successful waste trade and transportation. And then our other guests will tell you more about the EU regulation in practice, how to verify the person behind an inquiry or demand, their experiences with Cyrkl platform and other practical tips, and at the end, finding the right transportation partner with TIMOCOM will be the topic. At the end of the webinar, we will try to address and answer as many of your questions as possible until the end of the webinar. So if you are ready, I think that we can start with the introduction. So first of all, why did we choose this topic? Currently in Cyrkl, we are active in 8 EU countries, and we clearly see that the borders are a huge obstacle for many companies in their trading activities. And it's mostly due to lack of information and awareness, but also because of complicated administration and regulation. And however, to fuel the circular economy that is based on material exchange, we need to increase the knowledge and openness within companies, and we need to support them in this material exchange. And also the European Commission is currently working towards us with a new revised Waste Shipment Directive regulation that will ban export of waste materials outside of EU and also simplify and digitize the information exchange to fuel up the secondary and recycled material exchange within the European Union. But we will talk about it more within the first half of the webinar. Now I will try to walk you through my topic, the legislative background, and new requirements of the revised Waste Shipment Regulation. So as most of you already know, the environment within the waste trade and transportation is regulated currently by EU Waste Shipment Regulation number 1013 that was adopted in 2006. And it is basically based on two control regimes. The first one is the easier one, the General Information Requirements regime for green listed waste. And the second, the most complicated one for the amber listed waste, is the procedure of prior written notification and consent. So you basically need to notify the authorities and get a consent from the country of destination and the country where the transportation is starting. And this is creating a lot of administration burden for the companies. But lately, the Waste Shipment Regulation has been revised. The Commission published the first proposal in November 2021. So the legislative process took several years, but in February 2024, the European Parliament adopted the first reading position. And then at the end of March this year, the Council closed the adoption process, and the revised regulation will be published in the EU official journal and then enter into force on the 20th day following the publication. So basically anytime. So what will be the new rules? There are basically two areas of regulation: shipments within the European Union and then export of waste from the European Union. So within the European Union, there will be a general prohibition on shipment of waste for disposal in another member state. There will be an exception under certain conditions. So the companies can and the states can conclude bilateral and multilateral agreements on shipment of waste for disposal to facilitate cross-border shipments to the nearest suitable facility. Then there will be a new electronic submission and exchange system. That central system that will be created and governed by the European Commission would serve further purposes than electronic submission and exchange of information and documents, also by storing data allowing reporting and analysis of waste shipments. The new rule is the pre-consent regime. For certain waste to be accepted by specific waste recovery facilities. So basically, there will be an option to get a pre-consent for a recovery facility issued by the competent authority in one member state, and it will be valid then in all member states. At least one inspection would have to be conducted, and it will be valid for the period of 7 years. So it will basically simplify the whole process for the waste shipments within the European Union. And then another new rule will be the harmonized classification of waste as green listed and amber listed. So there will be no differences within different member states. And this should also help with simplifying the rules for the transportation. Regarding export of waste from the European Union, there will be export prohibition on the non-hazardous plastic waste destined for recovery to non-OECD countries. So the EU plastic waste exports to OECD countries other than EFTA member states would be phased out within 4 years of the regulations entry into force. Then there will be strengthened monitoring of waste exports to OECD countries. The list of countries will be authorized and then updated every year by the European Commission. Then the next rule will be for third-party audit requirements for facilities that will manage the waste in a country of destination. So prior to exporting waste, exporters would need to obtain written confirmation that the third party entrusted with the audit of the facility that will manage the waste in the country of destination is certified according to EU rules or according to internationally recognized standards. And then another new rule will be the criteria to differentiate between used goods and waste. So basically, the Council, within the legislative process of revision of the regulation, introduce conditions to use when assessing if objects are waste or used goods, as well as the possibility of the Commission to adopt implementing acts to set more detailed criteria on the uniform application of those conditions. So basically, there were a lot of experts lately when waste was clarified or classified as used goods to circumvent some of the regulations. So there will be new criteria to somehow fight against this. So this was just the brief summary of some of the new rules that should simplify and make the process of waste shipment and transportation within EU and also outside of the EU more straightforward. And that is all from my side. So now we can move to other presentations of our guests, starting with Mr. Simone Mariani. So please share your screen and the floor is yours.
Okay. Good morning all. My name is Simone Mariani and I'm Director of European Recycling Corporation here in UK, in Southampton. So we are a service company providing technical and logistical support to few industries, in particular the steel industries, which is our core business. So what do? Essentially, we prepare the byproducts coming out from the steel works. We screen, we process when possible, and of course, we need to find a home for such byproducts, let's say waste. So, and where do we find the home? Everywhere. So worldwide, to within the European Union, without the European Union, to OECD countries and non-OECD countries. And this is my presentation today. And it concerns the Commission Regulation number 1418/2007. Now, let me just, okay. So, why so? Because this regulation helps us to understand where we can ship certain waste to a certain country, especially to a non-OECD country. So it concerns the export for recovery and for recovery only, not disposal, of certain waste listed in Annex 3 or Annex 3A. The Annex 3A, the 3 and the 3A are belonging to the European Regulation number 1013/2006. They are the waste in green list. And it belongs and it reverts to the exportation to non-OECD countries. So let me, okay. So in accordance to the European Regulation 1013/2006, the European Commission has written a request to every non-OECD country seeking confirmation in writing that the waste which is listed in the Annex 3 or Annex 3A, green list waste, that the regulation and the export of which is not prohibited under the Article 36 that I will show you later, may be exported from the communities, from the European Union, for recovery only to that specific country, requesting an indication to which control procedure it would be followed in the country of destination. Of course, some waste are exempt for this because we have also, according to the Article 36 of the European Regulation 1013/2006, the export prohibition. what are the waste which are prohibited? Mainly they are hazardous waste belonging to the Annex 5, so waste listed as hazardous. Hazardous waste not classified under one single entry in Annex 5, mixture of hazardous waste and mixture of hazardous waste with non-hazardous waste. And then we have also waste that the country of destination has notified to be hazardous. For example, it can happen that the European Union doesn't consider that specific waste hazardous. However, the country of destination does. So in that case, it is not possible to ship. And most important, there are some waste which the competent authority of dispatch has reason to believe that they will not be managed in a sound manner, in an environmentally sound manner abroad to that specific country of destination. So how does it work? It works like this. The waste listed in the Annex 3 or 3A, green list, and the export of which is not prohibited under the Article 36. So the Commission, the European Commission, shall send a written, well, they sent actually a written request to every non-OECD country seeking confirmation in writing that the waste may be exported from the European Union for recovery in that country. And also an indication as to which control procedure would be followed in the country of destination. So each country came back, each non-OECD country came back with either a prohibition or a procedure of prior written notification and consent, or a no control at all. In that case, the article applied to such shipments is the Article 18 of the European Regulation 1013/2006, which means that we need to prepare an Annex 7, providing all the details of the shipment from let's say from the collector or from the manufacturing plant till destination, plus a contract between the exporter or the keeper of the waste and the one supposed to recycle in a sound manner the waste, taking care of all the risks involved in the trip and of course in the legal recovery of the material, of the waste. So the Commission has received many replies from many non-OECD countries, Algeria, Andorra, Argentina, and many others, and some countries didn't respond. So certain countries have not issued a confirmation in writing that the waste may be exported to them from the European Union and for recovery. Therefore, in accordance to the Article 37 of the European Regulation 1013/2006, such countries are to be regarded as having chosen a procedure of prior written notification and consent. So if you want to send your waste for recovery to that specific non-OECD country, you need to apply for a prior notification, a prior written notification, and get the consent from the authority of the destination country. So certain countries have, in their replies, made known their intention to follow some other control procedures referring to their laws, to their local national laws. So what should we behave in this matter? Well, of course, we need to follow the Article 18 of our regulation, of the European regulation. So it means that we need to fulfill the Annex 7 and prepare the contract between the exporter and the one supposed to recycle the material. And of course, we need to consider that once our waste has reached the destination, it will be subjected to the local law. And especially to the local controls by the country of destination custom. So where it is indicated in the Annex 7 that a country, with regard to certain shipment of waste, does not prohibit them or apply the procedure of prior written notification and consent as described in Article 35 of that regulation, Article 18 of that regulation shall apply, mutatis mutandis, to such shipment. So we need to apply anyway the Article 18. So now let's come to the heart of this law, which is more practical and more, it will be easier for the public to understand. So the annex in this law, which is the heart of the law, is composed of many tables, every table for any non-OECD country. So this table is composed of rows and columns, and especially 4 columns. In the column A, you have the prohibition, so you cannot send to that country this specific code appearing in the A column. If your waste belongs to the B column, then you must apply to the prior written notification and consent. In case of your waste appear to the C column, in that case, you have to apply the Article 18 of the European Regulation 1013/2006 and fulfill your Annex 7. And then the column D, you will have other control procedure, which will be applied by the local laws. Okay, so where a particular waste or mixture of waste is not indicated for a given country, this means that this country hasn't provided sufficiently clear confirmation that this waste or mixture of waste may be exported for recovery in that country. So in that case, we need to apply the prior written notification and consent. So I brought here one example. This is the table concerning Taiwan, the shipments to Taiwan, just as an example. So you can see the 4 columns, A, B, C, and D. You can see some alphanumeric code. They start with B, B for Basel, and they are all codes in green list. For example, the code B1040 and the code B1250 belong to the column A. So these are prohibited. So let me just, for example, the B1040 I'm reading is refers to some electric scrap coming from power generation not contaminated with the lubricant oil, PCB and PCT. So in that case, this electrical scrap cannot be shipped to Taiwan. So in the column B, you can see, for example, the code B1010, which has many items, precious metals, molybdenum scrap, cobalt, and so on. And if you want to ship cobalt scrap to Taiwan, of course, you need to apply for the prior written notification and consent. Unfortunately, we are not very lucky with Taiwan, so we cannot apply the Article 18 for any code because, as you can see, there are no codes in column C, which is the simple one. However, you can, for example, we ship iron and steel scrap to Taiwan using the Article 18, so we fulfill the Annex 7, we prepare the contract between us and the recycling company in Taiwan, and then we can ship according to the European Regulation 1013/2006. In that case, we know that also some local controls apply to our scrap when it reaches Taiwan. So here we have another table always concerning Taiwan, so the story is the same. Just wanted to show you then when 2 codes, for example, B3060 and B4030 are separated by an hyphen. In this case, it means all waste codes starting from B3060 to B4030 and the ones in between them. When you have a semicolon like B3030 and B3035, it means just these 2 codes. So here we have other two tables, one for Cuba, just for sampling, and one for Congo. In Cuba, you see you can ship any waste code, any green list waste code, any waste in green list, because they all belong to the column C, except the plastic scrap B3011, which requires a prior written notification and consent. Congo replies to the European Commission saying, no, we don't want your waste, so you can keep it. And also the mixture of waste. For example, in Cuba, you can ship the waste in green list separately, but not the mixture. Annex 3A are the mixture of two or more waste code in green list. So summarizing, we have the Annex 3 and of the European Law 1013/2006, and it comprehends two parts, Part 1 and Part 2. Part 1 is let's say the Basel codes, and they are in green list. So the following waste will be subjected to the general information requirements laid down in Article 18, contract among the parties, and Annex 7. And also the Part 2, refer to the waste will be also subject to the general information requirements laid down in Article 18. I will show you later. And Annex 3A is just the mixture of two or more of these codes in green list. Annex 3B is quite particular, and it refers to additional green listed waste awaiting inclusion in the relevant annexes to the Basel Convention. Yeah, it's just temporary. So the list B, in particular the list B corresponding to the Annex 9 of the Basel Convention, refers to these codes in green list. The list A is the amber list. So the difference is that the list A can usually not be sent to non-OECD countries, while the waste in green list is what we are talking about. So the list B belongs to the Part 1, and then we have the Part 2. The Part 2, we have 20 groups, and they are the European Waste Code. They are formed by 6 numbers. 01 is, let's say, the main group, and then you have other four numbers. So these are simply the European Waste codes. Then you have the Part 3, List A, corresponding to the Annex 2 of the Basel Convention, and you have waste collected from household, residues arising from the incineration of household waste. Then you have plastic waste, including mixture of such waste. And then you have the Annex 5, and it represents the waste subject to the export prohibition in Article 36 that I mentioned before, and the Annex 4. The Annex 4 is the list of waste subject to the procedure of prior written notification and consent, which is the amber list waste. In Part 1, the following waste will be subject to the procedure of prior written notification and consent, as said before. And then also we have the waste listed in Annex 2 and 8 to the Basel Convention. The 4A, the Annex 4A, correspond to the waste listed in Annex 3, but subject anyway to the procedure of prior written notification and consent. Sorry if I took too long, and I apologize if with this codification and so many information, I maybe misled you. I hope not to have misled you, and if you have any question, please let me know. Thanks a lot.
Thank you for your presentation, Mr. Mariani. It was very interesting. And I think that many of us will need to rewatch it from the recording to get the better understanding of the topic, because it's really, really complicated.
Technical, yes, yeah.
Yeah, now I would like to ask Jakub Kováč to share his screen and go on with his presentation.
Super. Welcome, everybody. Thank you, Simone and Denis, for introducing the topic. I will be a little bit more, let's say, practical, and I will do a little bit step back. Yeah, because we are going into more into the practicality of how do you find a partner and how do you actually transport. As you know, and probably everybody who is on the call is trying to achieve something here that is going to help our Mother Earth, and that is more recycling and more trade in recycling business. And this will help us to, first of all, achieve CO2 emissions, and then help our Earth to not warm up so much. So, and that will help everybody, especially our kids and grandkids. So I'm hoping that this is the mission of everybody on the call. And when we looked at how the waste market currently works, doesn't work very efficiently. Yeah, it is very long. So the sales cycles are long, and you probably know that because you do that every day. But what we see is that it takes 3 to 4 months to close one deal, which is kind of contrasting with when you buy an iPhone, it arrives to your home same day or next day, right? And you pay immediately. Whereas for waste, it takes 3 to 4 months. That's something that we want to change. We would like to take it maximum 1 week to be able to, if you see some good waste on a digital platform, you can buy it within a week. It should be in your scrapyard or in your recycling facility. So this is something that we are looking at, and we would like to change going forward. And here you see kind of like what are the steps that are taking so long during the normal process of procuring waste. So in the beginning, it's finding a new good partner and verifying that the partner is a reliable partner. So this is something where we are now focusing on most of our efforts. So I will show you how. Then it's all about sampling and personal visit and finding out the right price and payments, which we are not going to tackle today, but maybe in some other webinars in the future. And then it's all about logistics and how do you get it delivered. And then we have one of the major platforms in Europe, TIMOCOM, and for them, it's one of top 3, top 4 industries is waste industry. So they are helping traders and recyclers like you to get the waste delivered, yeah, within the network. So we are gonna look at that as well later on. So in terms of finding the reliable partner and how do we verify, so we open the marketplace, and currently we have 22,000 registered users. We are connecting buyers and sellers through our marketplace. You probably can imagine how we have an algorithm that is kind of suggesting specific materials to get the connection better. And I will a little bit show you on a live demo. But that's only one part of our marketplace. The other part is that we gathered information. We call it a LinkedIn for waste. We gather information on participants of waste, and I hope that you are there as well, being active, because we are scraping different public sources as well as looking at the history of our waste marketplace, and we are looking also at our consulting activities. And when we call somebody, we put them in the database. So we have information on all kinds of things about different companies that are in the waste management. For example, we know what materials they are looking for or they are providing. We know what is the capacity. We know the contact details. We know where they are based. So you can kind of filter also geographically and so on and so forth. We are also adding new features as we go, like for example, saving to favorites, putting notes. So we kind of building a little bit of a CRM functionality into it, right, as well. We have 15,000 contacts there across different materials. I'll just show you very quickly live how it looks like, and then we can move to. So you can see our marketplace where we have a lot of listings where you can actually find what you're looking for. We have also demands, so somebody looking for something, so you can see and you can click and you can go and contact the seller through a chat. We'll just log in to be logged in to contact the seller, so you can use our chat. But then we have this we call it Cyrkl Connect, where Cyrkl Contacts, where we basically have the proprietary database of different sellers and buyers of different materials. So you can see there are some fast filters, but also you can search by location. So if I say Prague and radius 150K. It kind of filters the location. We are also verifying different participants. So, for example, we know that this company has more than 100,000 euro per year revenue. We know that they have employees. So it's kind of like a tick mark that they do. And it's also verified by us, meaning that we actually call them in person, right? So they're actually picking up the phone. So you can see a lot of different verification badges that we are having. You can add to favorites. You know what kind of materials they are doing. You know, in the history, you have the contact details. Yeah, and you can for sure filter by different. Let's say if you go to plastics, you can go to subcategory like PP, for example, and you know who are the key players in the area of Prague, around Prague. There is 73 players around Prague in 150K that are trading these materials, be it in terms of PP. Yeah, so you can then filter and look at. So this is something that we try to put together, and we are still, you know, in the beginning, but we are scraping a lot of different participants. So we know also if somebody, you know, has a website, we can actually look at the website and we know that they are looking for recycled material. We put them in the database. So we are enhancing this going forward. So I'm hoping this could help you to not have to go through Google and Facebook and do all the research, because we do it for you automatically. And we will help you to find your partner, not within, let's say, 2 weeks, but within actually 1 day. So that's our mission. And yeah, and that's it from my side. And I would pass the word to Philipp Krauss, who will tell you a little bit more about practical tips, how he does that and how he verifies his contacts.
Hi, yeah, good morning. I will just put my presentation on the screen. So I will explain to you how to verify the person behind an inquiry and demand. A little bit about myself. So I'm the managing director of Krauss Consulting and Recycling, and I'm basically doing a sales agency and trading with recycled plastics, as well as commercial and technical consulting for plastic products. And since 2019, I'm using various online platforms. I think I'm using Cyrkl since 2021, and I founded my company in 2020, basically focusing on selling regranulates online, especially during Corona. That was really popular in the market. The digital business was booming, and yesterday I heard that still 67% of all global B2B transactions are done digitally, and this is going to increase to 80%. So I think using Cyrkl and other platforms is something very trendy. Yeah. Basically, the company domain is a sign of the credibility. So once maybe everybody of you has made the same experience, the people who are offering materials, also on other platforms. So once I received an offer from a PET regrind from UK, it was not on Cyrkl. The person used the name of the CFO of a global waste management company with a Google Mail account and an email signature of the same company, but a different job title. So since that happened to me once, I started using some standard procedures for how to check the credibility of a person that I meet, let's say, online. So so basically I'm checking on the domain. So if the person has an email address, is it a free domain? I know that Google Mail, it's everybody knows Google Mail, everybody knows Hotmail. In the Czech Republic, it's Cessnam. So I had to Google that to find out it's a free domain. In Germany, it's web.de. To people from abroad, it might look like something that's not a free domain, but actually it is. And I'm often associating them with scams, so I'm always careful with that. The thing what I really recommend you is to invest into a company domain. Just yesterday, I found an offer for €1.50 per month. So it's really, really easy to set up your own company domain. Or maybe even more easy, just make a Cyrkl Pro membership. Yeah. So what I'm doing when I'm receiving an inquiry or an offer, Basically, I check only for offers with a Cyrkl Pro sign. That's the easiest, but not all. I mean, it's getting more, no? But not everybody has a Pro membership now. It's the easiest verification. So I'm checking first on the email domain. Do they use a free email provider? Then I basically check if the name before the @ sign fits to the name behind in the email signature. So sometimes it's different. And then I'm going to the company website, and even though the person sends you a company domain, or maybe he says he belongs to a certain company, you might find out that on the website it has a different info @ domain. And then I'm also checking if the offer matches the products featured on the website. So, for example, I'm currently not offering PVC. So if you would find an offer from me with PVC, and the person would give you a strange email address at Google Mail, it would probably not be me. And yeah, lastly, what helped me with that CFO from the waste management company was that I found out on LinkedIn that actually he does not work in UK, he works in France. So yeah, it helped. In the offers, if there is no Cyrkl Pro sign, I go to the website, as I mentioned before. I'm also checking if something is mentioned in the offer description. So if there is no description, I'm also very careful on the inquiries, and I always ask technical questions. In terms of plastics, I'm always asking very simply for the MFI of the material in case it's not mentioned there. It really works. Most people can answer that question, but some simply you don't get an answer from them anymore. And then I think it could be clear that it's a fraud. Yeah, it's important to ask the right questions. That's it.
Thank you for a very interesting presentation again, Mr. Krauss. Okay. Very helpful procedure. I will myself maybe use it when I'm selling my stuff online. So good for the tips. Thank you for the tips. And now you can stop sharing the screen, and I would like to ask Mr. Stammel from TIMOCOM to go on with his presentation.
Yes, I will. Thank you very much, Dennis. Perfect. So hello everyone, and thank you for the invitation. My name is Uwe Stammel, and I'm a corporate innovation manager at TIMOCOM, and I'm currently working on projects that involve different segments, and one of the segments is the waste industry, waste management. Yes, and I'm looking forward to introduce TIMOCOM today for those who don't know TIMOCOM yet. So I would like to start showing a short presentation, let's say TIMOCOM in a nutshell. So what we do and who we are, and of course I show you some insights concerning your segment, your business. So I have prepared some numbers and graphics how TIMOCOM is positioned in your segment, waste business currently. Then I continue showing you minimum 4 ways how to find the right transport partner in TIMOCOM in a short live demonstration. So let's start with introducing TIMOCOM. We are based in Germany, in Erkrath, what is very close to Düsseldorf, with more than 690 people and offices in Poland, Czech Republic, and Hungary. We have a network of more than 55,000 verified customers activated in the TIMOCOM marketplace, with up to 1 million international freight offers and vehicle space offers daily. So on the next page, on the next slide, I would like to show you the principle of TIMOCOM in a very simple way. So we are a neutral road freight marketplace which brings the shipper and the carrier together, and our customers are those who have to transport freight from A to B, and those who have the truck to transport this freight. So the shipper on the left-hand side can offer his freight, and he can search for available vehicles. And the carrier on the other side, he can offer his available vehicle space, and he can search for the freight. So that is what we do in our road freight marketplace, in our core business. And as I told you before, we have a network over 55,000 verified customers inside the marketplace. So what is TIMOCOM already doing in the segment of waste management? So I prepared a graphic that shows that we already have many freight offers in the system that required the waste certificate. And here are only shown the offers with the certificate which was selected. And I don't know, there are not the offers with the free text of waste management or something like this. I didn't elaborate it, so it's only the selected one. And what you see is an increase of compared to the previous year. And the next slide, you can see the vehicle offers with waste carrier license as equipment. So here the same picture, an increase to the previous year, and that are the companies with capacities available in your segment. So which could be interesting for you if you have the transports and you are looking for carriers. And last but not least, our company profiles. So we currently have over 7,800 transport companies in the system that are allowed to transport waste. But I can show you it later on in the live demonstration as well. So that was my short presentation. Now I would switch to our live system. And yeah, if you have any questions afterwards, feel free to contact me if you want. So that's my presentation. And now I show you the TIMOCOM platform. This is our start page. And this is our portfolio, our products here on the navigation list here. And I told you before, we have a marketplace with up to with up to 1 million freight offers daily. And this is the freight and vehicle exchange over here. This is for freight, and the other one is for vehicle. I show you later how to find the right transport partner here. We also have a warehouse exchange and a tender platform. So if you are interested in long-term contracts to a carrier, then this would be very helpful for you. So you can see here tenders, and you can bid on tendering. And for example, in progress. Okay, that's because I'm in my test account. Okay, and we have a map also, so you can use the map for tracking. So, for example, I choose one car, and if you're interested which position this car has, you can see it here on the map. We also have a transport order management, transport orders like this. And we have a shipment tracking, live shipment tracking here. It's a little bit slow. Sorry for that. I think it's because of the sharing. So these are the transport orders and the shipment tracking. For example, you are interested to get a status where your transport is. For example, you can see it here. Just a short view. So you see the status where the loading, the unloading, and you can take this link to send it to your client or to your customer that he can see when is the transport is coming, when is the transport coming. And yeah, we also have a vehicle management and some statistics. So that's TIMOCOM in a nutshell, but I want to show you how to find the right transport partner. And first of all, I show you the freight exchange. Let's say you offer a new freight, for example, from Berlin to Munich on Friday, for example. And then you can say the type of goods. Let's say it's a full truck of waste, and you can enter here your price if you have a price in your mind. Otherwise, you get price proposals, and vehicle type is, let's say, widget truck, and this one. The body type is the curtain one. Curtain body type, and taut liner, tipper, for example. And what you need is a carrier with a waste carrier license, for example. And then you can publish this offer to our marketplace. In this case, I choose our test environment here. Sorry for this, there's a can choose it. Okay, let's make this one, TIMOCOM test. Okay, and then I publish this offer in the marketplace. I see my offer here. This is the offer from Berlin to Munich, for example, a full truck of waste. And here I see my quotes, my price proposals. So I have prepared another screen here. This is the view of the carrier, and the carrier is searching for freights, right? So, and now I see the coffee company. Here's that's my test account. That's an interesting freight from Berlin to Munich. And me as a carrier, I can submit a quote here for this. Let's say it's 583 kilometers, let's say 700 euros, for example. Test. And valid for 30 minutes. It's okay. So I submit my price proposal, and what is happening here? The shipper gets the price proposal here. You see the 700 euros, my test, and then I have the opportunity to select this carrier. So when I press the select button, there are two possibilities. The first one, select, is I choose this carrier and I do everything outside from TIMOCOM. So the transport order is in my own TMS, for example. But you also have the opportunity to select and order the transport inside from TIMOCOM. So when I press this button, automatically opens the transport order here with all the informations I have, and I have to fill out the company name and the address of the transport. Then I can fill out some freight descriptions, additional informations, and of course the price for the carrier, for example the 700 euros. Like this, and then I send this transport order to the carrier. So let's say test, it's from Berlin, yeah, test, that's okay, and this one in Munich, like this. If you have the correct street, you also have geofencing, so the status is with geofencing as well, automatically. But in this case, we have test data, and geofencing doesn't work, of course. Okay, and then I sent this transport order. Okay, it's let's say that's 15 bags of plastic, for example. And then I send this transport order to the carrier. And here we see the notification, the carrier get a new transport order. You see the handshake. So when I press this button, the carrier can see the transport order, and he has to accept them here. These are our 700 euros. Everything is okay. Accept. And then the shipper get the information. Okay. Refresh. Transport order accepted. Okay. This is my carrier, Transport and Spedition GmbH. Uwe Stammel, that's me. So, and now the transport is happening. So here the carrier received the order in TIMOCOM, Berlin to Munich. And then he say, okay, I start my transportation right now. And the status is, for example, departed for the loading place and arrived to the loading place, something like this. And as I told you before, so if you have the right street and then the gale fencing will make this automatically when the truck is in the closer area. So, but in this case, so I see, okay, signed order. Let's have a look. So I made two status here. Berlin to Munich. I want to track the shipping. Oh, okay, I see. He's arrived in the loading place. Okay. And then when I am back to the carrier side, so loading started, loading completed, for example, departed for unloading place, like this, unloading completed. Sorry, something like this. Then the shipper can refresh this and we see, okay, it's almost done. And then we have the tracking link for our customers, for example, and then I can send it to my client or to my customer that the freight is ended. So that's the live shipment tracking in a very short way. So that's one of the options to find the right transport partner. The other one option is to search for vehicle. So you as a shipper of waste, you can search for a vehicle offers as well. Okay, it takes a little bit. Search for vehicle space. Okay, here. And let's say we are in Czech Republic, for example. And we search for carriers with waste carrier license. So search, and then test, no, not in the test area. I want to search in the, I do it again. Okay, sorry for this. I cannot search in the test area in the public marketplace, so I can't show you. But here you will find the results of the carrier here in this results list here. But unfortunately, I cannot because I'm in a test area here. So these are the second way to find the right transport partner. And the third way is our company profiles. So, for example, you choose Czech Republic, and you need to find transport partners with waste, with the waste license, and you can say the carrier must be over 5 years old, Holia, for example, and then you have the list of the carriers who are allowed to transport waste, for example. This the third way to find the right partner. And the last one is the tendering. So here, our tender platform is for the long-term contract. So let's say you have a project for 1 year, 5 times a week, for example, you can enter your tender here on our tender platform, and then you get bids, and you can decide, okay, which carrier you want to choose for this job for 1 year, for example. Our spot market is if you have a transport today, tomorrow, or next week, for example, and you search for a transport partner here. Okay, this is my short live demonstration. Sorry for that, that I couldn't show you everything because of the testing account here. But if you have any questions, feel free to visit our website. You get all the information on our website as well. Okay, any questions so far?
Thank you for the presentation, Mr. Stammel. We have one question that is regarding your demonstration. So is this is your platform available for all EU or just Germany?
No, it's in Europe. So we are a marketplace for the Europe road freight industry. Yeah, correct. It's not only Germany. Yeah.
Thank you. And regarding the transportation by train or ship, do you have any recommendations maybe for another platforms?
Not yet. So we are focused on road freight with trucks. Yeah.
Okay, thank you for the answers. And with that, maybe we can move smoothly to the Q&A section. I have several questions from the audience that I would like to ask you. Maybe first we can start with the question, what are the main challenges of exporting e-waste to Asia? This is mostly for Mr. Mariani.
Good question. So, well, I think the main challenge, especially for what concerns new customers, is to find the right partner, because you never know who you have in front of you. Of course, an important challenge is the payment. So we export our goods, our waste, and also the other goods on the basis of letter of credit, because with a letter of credit is a win-win guarantee for both parties that in any case you will be paid by your customer destination. You can also accept maybe payment upfront, but in that case, you need to be careful in order to have always the original document of the original shipment document in your hand. Otherwise, you can get the upfront payment and then you will not get paid for the balance. So this is one challenge, and of course you have the rule. You have the rule that you must respect in order to ship the goods. And concerning my presentation, if you ship to Asia to a non-OECD country, of course you need to apply for some specific control, either the prior notification, which is very complex, because I didn't emphasize how complex it is. Or you have just to apply the Article 18. So these are the main challenges, actually: the rules, the bureaucracy, and of course the payments. So yeah.
Okay, thank you for the answer. And maybe the question that is connected to this, what are the most common and safest payment terms for both parties?
Well, the safest is the letter of credit, because from both parties, I would say, because you are an exporter, you have the guarantee that one bank has the money to pay you, unless the bank goes to a default, which you never know. Or in that case, you can also get the confirmed letter of credit, especially in those countries which are politically unstable. Maybe the banking can collapse, and if your letter of credit is confirmed by a primary bank, a primary international bank, that in any case, even if you have a collapse in the banking system of that country, the primary international bank will guarantee for your payment. So the letter of credit is the best for both parties. And of course, on the other side, your partner abroad will be safe in a way that you will ship, of course, the goods. Yeah, this is what I would say mainly.
Okay, thank you. Maybe Mr. Krauss, do you have something to add to your experience regarding payments?
No, I completely agree that a letter of credit or maybe a bank guarantee is the best payment term.
Okay, thank you. Then we have another question regarding transportation of secondary resources or non-waste materials. Do we still need waste export permit and all other paperwork for it to be exported? Here I can tell that if you already have permit in your country of origin and you are entering the byproduct regime or end of waste regime with your waste material after some kind of processing method, then it's not waste anymore. So it's not regulated with the EU Waste Shipment Regulation and other aligning regulations. So you can proceed as with products. And then we have one more question: how to do auditing of the partners to build trusted partnerships. So maybe Mr. Mariani or Mr. Krauss, do you have any more experience regarding more detailed and thorough auditing besides just checking the credibility of the contact?
I think something that's getting very popular is the new Cyrkl certification. I heard that the difference to Usurplast is that the certification body in Brussels gives the certificate and not the auditor itself anymore. So that might be something, if a recycler has a Cyrkl certification, that's probably very good. And other than that, I would just say, yeah, even though we are talking about digital business and all staying at home office, still there goes no way around meeting each other in person and see how the person in reality is.
Thank you very much. Mr. Mariani, do you have anything to add?
Well, this is a very complex question, because especially when you ship to Asia, to Asian countries, to non-OECD countries, to far countries, they have their own rules. So in order to audit them, you need to send an inspection company to understand, to verify that they recycle the waste in a safe and sound manner from the environmental point of view. Or you can visit them yourself, which is not possible all the times, because otherwise you have to take long flights. But an inspection company could be useful. Another thing can be to require, and that is necessary, I think, to require from your recycling facility their permission, their environmental permission, or their import license, to understand how serious they are, especially when you don't know them. This could be a first point. And of course, an inspection company would be the best.
Okay, thank you again for your answer. And we have one more question from a weaving company that produces several remains of fabrics, and they're asking how and where we can sell them. So this may be a question for us. I'm sure that the presentation of Jakub was very useful for you. Maybe Jakub, you can shortly tell us how to input offer of waste material on our platform.
Sorry, what was the material?
Some textile fabrics.
Okay. Yeah. So as we shown, I think we have the marketplace where you can just insert, you register yourself and you insert the material, and you can wait until somebody is interested, or you can go and see in our database whether somebody is dealing with textiles in a regular basis, and you can do more active selling of this product. So those are the two options that we offer on Cyrkl.com.
One more question. You mentioned the planned ban on exporting waste to non-OECD countries. Is it meant to be absolute ban for all wastes, or only for disposal usage, and recycling usage remains as now? As to my understanding, the ban will regard the recovery process, but there will be, as I mentioned, there will be exemption for some cases. So as I told you before during my presentation, there still will be some way to export to non-OECD countries, and this will go mostly to plastics. So it will be not an absolute ban for all the waste materials, just plastics at first. And then there will be also the phase out period of 4 years. So basically, the new rules will start to apply with this new revised Waste Shipment Regulation, and there will be 4 more years to finish the exports and try a way to comply and find new partners within EU member states. And then another question I can see: who is responsible to differentiate waste from byproducts? The producing company or the buyer? That's a good question. There is also a long existing procedure for differentiating byproducts from waste in the EU regulation, and this is mostly based on 4 basic criteria that you need to fulfill. And then this is differentiated from one member state to other. There is no clear harmonization within the European Union. So basically, the European Union law requires to fulfill those 4 criteria, and you can do a self-assessment. You just, in case of control, need to be able to prove that all the 4 requirements are met. So that's why most of the companies search for approval from the authorities in their state. So even though in some countries it's not necessary to have a formal approval, like in Czech Republic, in Slovakia you need to have a formal approval from the state and administration that you met all those 4 criteria for byproduct. So it's mostly on your side, and then you have to prove in case of control. Oh, you're welcome. So I don't see any more questions. There is one question: when the Annex 3 is needed. So this is maybe for Mr. Mariani to repeat where the Annex 3 is used.
I didn't understand which Annex 3, so probably was mentioning the Annex 3 concerning the European Regulation 1013/2006.
I believe so.
Yes, so the Annex 3 is referring to the Basel codes in Green List. So it is not an annex that you need to provide, it's just a classification of the code, if I understood well. Or he was mentioning the Annex 7. because if he was mentioning the Annex 7, it means that you can use the Annex 7 only when the waste code appears in the column C of the European Regulation 1418/2007. When your waste code, first of all, you need to understand which Basel code is your waste. When you have identified it and you see that it is in the column C of the country where you want to ship this Basel code, this waste, so it means that the procedure corresponding to the Article 18 must be applied. So you can fulfill the Annex 7. Annex 3, I don't know, but please correct me if I'm wrong, but I don't. Yeah,
I agree. I think that the Annex 3 is used all the time because it's basically the green listed.
Yes, the green
waste,
list.
The green list waste, yeah.
Yes,
so
yes.
You need to use it to assess if your waste
yes, exactly.
is categorized under the Annex 3 for the next process.
Yes.
Yeah. And then one more question for Mr. Stammel. I would like to ask TIMOCOM how many offers for waste transport with tipping trucks are there on your platform? This is very detailed question.
Yeah, very detailed question. I can't analyze it at the moment. So I in my presentation I have analyzed all transport freight offers with waste carrier license, but you need only the with the tipper, right?
Yes.
I make a short
so maybe if you
test.
can just check.
Yeah, I tried to check it in our live system right now. Okay, so is it okay to share my screen again?
Yeah, sure, please.
Yeah, so I have to correct the number, but I can show you here's the system. So search for freight, and now I'm in the live system, not in the testing area. So we're looking for tipper only. Lot of freight offers, I would say. Do you see my screen?
Yes, perfect. Thank you.
Okay. Yeah, you're welcome. So we are in the live system. Search for freight. I choose tipper as a body type, and I refreshed my results, and you see all transports with a tipper necessary and a waste carrier license. So a lot of freight offers, I would say. I have no exactly number, but it looks a lot, yeah. So
Yeah.
when I choose, for example, only in Germany or Czech Republic, for example, yeah, a lot of freight offers inside the marketplace at the moment, yeah.
Okay, thank you again for a live demonstration. I guess this is for Mr. Mariani again. Question about the Regulation 1418 from 2007. Is it correct that waste listed in column D is subject to Article 18 information procedure?
Yes, it is correct. I confirm. And plus, you might have some further controls at destination, but they are just controls belonging to the local rules coming from the custom of the destination country. But anyway, yes, you have to apply the Article 18 and fulfill the Annex 7 and the contract, and that's it. Yeah.
Okay, thank you. In this case, I would like again to thank all of our speakers and then Jakub as well for giving a great presentations, live demo, and providing us a lot of useful tips and information about the trading and transporting of waste, not only in EU, but in case of Mr. Mariani, also how to go through the exportation of the waste material outside of the EU. So that's it from our side. We will be sharing the recording with all the registered attendees. And if you have more questions, we will also try to provide you contact information on our speakers in the follow-up email, so you can contact them directly with more questions. So that's all from our side. Thank you again, everyone, and also all the participants that attended the webinar. And see you on the next webinar.
Thanks
Thank
a
you
lot.
very much.
Thank you, everybody.
Thank you.
Have a great day. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Have a great day.